Hey guys, got my gear here. Treet Platinum Blade, 7 Doubloons, a soap from Blackship Grooming, Semogue 2000 Boar brush, been soaking for a while, and my Gillette vintage, the head at least, is the Hybrid Tech. And so had this soaking. I actually was going to shave last night and then my schedule got weird, and so it's been soaking for that long. So he is definitely hydrated. The 7 Doubloons is a sample I got from Maggard Razors, great place for samples of many good soaps. And Blackship Grooming, it used to be called Beaver Woodwright, and so they've been doing things for a while. It might be vegan. I don't think there's any tallow in here. It does have coconut oil. Some shavers don't go for that. But I've enjoyed the performance of some other soaps that I have from them. Captain Darkside, Captain's Pipe. I think it's Captain Darkside. It's kind of like a Captain Crunch kind of thing. Captain's Pipe. I've tried Barnacle Bob as well, which I think I kind of enjoyed. But those two that I specifically had, I enjoyed the base. I like the look of their artwork, and their prices are pretty good. And so I like to kind of support some different folks like that. Now this is a sample, and if you don't know how to work up a sample, I'm sure you can imagine. Hopefully you haven't tried, trying to scrub your brush inside one of these little tubs. What you do is you can hook out some. You can use the back of your thumbnail, for instance. You can use a butter knife, but I like to, and I've kind of figured out that a 1/4 teaspoon is a good amount for most soaps. And so it's nice because when you get one of these little guys, you might want to get as many shaves out of him as you can so that you can get a good evaluation of the soap. Now, of course, you can also just take all of it out and put it in a larger dish, like a Pyrex dish or whatever, and then use that kind of like a soap tub. Swirl in it for 30 seconds or 120 swirls, whatever you feel like. Whatever you've decided works well for you, and then take that brush to your face. Set the little container aside, or bring them in a lather bowl and start working in the lather if you're not a face latherer. All right, so pretty much an exact 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to press that into the bottom of my bowl. All right, let's also unwrap this Treet Platinum Blade. Haven't used it too many times, and so I did mark this one as a marathon blade. And so it's early on in its career, 6 uses about. It does have the paper interior envelope in addition to the outer one. So that's what the Treet Platinum looks like. Put it in the razor. Almost dropped my handle. The top cap has these nice rails that and the 4 corner posts that help to keep this blade perfectly aligned every time. This is a difficult to obtain razor, so it's not one of the. I'm holding things gently, and so sometimes that means things slip around a little bit. All right, nice, tightened down, ready to go. Get my face wet. So since I didn't shave last night, we're looking at a 1.5 days of growth, which is atypical, but that's the way it is. But it's not good. There's not going to be a problem cutting it down at all with this razor, or really any razor for me. All right, so I'm going to take the 2000. Notice I've got these little black O-rings at the base. I got 2 of them. It was just spreading out a lot, and I wanted to focus those tips a little bit more. So here's the that soap. Nice Wanted to focus those bristles and keep it a little bit more toward my face instead of opening up too much and getting more floppy. And I really like it done this way. Now right away we get bubbliness, but you know, if you're new, don't mistake that for a good lather. So the 7 doubloons interested me. I looked at the scents that they have at Blackship Grooming, and they have a lot. Maggard's has a lot of their scents, but they have even more, I believe, on their website. They also sell on eBay as well. And filtered through, and I've tried several of theirs, like Philip's Fougere, and I sometimes don't like a Fougere because I believe there's a floral component to many Fougeres, and so that opens up the opportunity to maybe have a strong floral scent, and that's not me. But 7 doubloons interested me. I put it on my little list of one to sample, and so when I had a Maggard's order, I went ahead and added it in. It has sandalwood, amber, fir, musk, apple, cilantro, and black currant. And sometimes if the fir is strong, I don't like it in a scent, and so that's always a little risky, right? But I went ahead and decided to try it because so many of those other elements, sandalwood, a little bit of amber, you can definitely overdo amber. The sandalwood, the musk, apple, cilantro, and black currant I've really enjoyed before in various other scents. I know there's one that has black currant that I really enjoy. I can't remember what it is though. And see, already fairly quickly with 1.5 teaspoons of water added, we've got a good amount of soap, of lather here. We'll make sure we get a good mix. This is a Boar brush that has just kind of medium backbone because I have throttled it down a little bit with those O-rings. So it's very comfortable. It's got nice face feel. Let's feel of it. I don't want to push too much water. Yeah, see, that's nice and slick. That's good. I don't know that there we go. Let me get the light a little better maybe. It does kind of have the micro bubble thing going on to a little degree, but it's really creamy and slick. I like that. And that's probably what gravitated me toward this brand. I tried a couple of theirs. I think maybe I got one as a part of a lot, and so that let me try it. And then I realized, hey, that's a good soap base. I mean, it's probably not going to be as good as a lot of those, you know, Barrister and Man, Holy Cow, No Blotter, Declaration Grooming, those guys. But I mean, do we always have to be just bleeding edge? As long as you get a nice, comfortable, slick lather, then can it just be enjoyable, right? I think what attracted me initially was Captain's Pipe. I like a good pipe scent. So then once I had that one, I wanted to try some others. Lather looks really nice. I'm going to go ahead and add another ½ teaspoon here. Just recently on Reddit we had a thread going where somebody started up the conversation, the subject of wet lathers. He did it more controversially. He said, the lather you're making is wrong. You know, there's that teaser. And I think in the majority of the time, he's probably right. so many people, and I've said this for a long time, I think in general people have lathers that are just too dry. Now he prefers lathers that are just kind of dripping off and messy. And as long as you have good soap, then that means you got a slick lather, a slick protective lather, well hydrated. And now I don't like to get too messy, and so I like to take it to the point of where it's dripping off of it's flying off of your brush, and back off the water just a little bit from that. Yeah, look at this. We've got tons of lather. 1/4 teaspoon is plenty with this soap base. Wow, looks great. Yeah, that's terrific. Will it go wetter? I don't know. We'll see. Why don't we just shave with this and see what happens? All right, I'm going to wet my face one more time. Using lukewarm water since we are in the winter. I'm going to bring a little bit of hot in just to mitigate that icy water, and just to kind of bring it up to lukewarm. And I do have hard water at this location. Yeah, I think I could add some water to this if I wanted it to get slicker. That's always good. One of the traits of a good soap is, will it take water? Does it break down? And like if you have kind of a creamy looking lather and then you add water to it, a lot of water, and then it still kind of looks creamy, you know, and yeah, I think I need to add a little bit. But then your razor kind of skips across your face. That's usually a sign that it's not a great soap, when you have to keep it. I'm having a hard time forming my thought correctly. Let me think about it just for a second. Let's put it this way. There are some soaps where I feel like I have to run a little thicker, because when I get them as hydrated as I kind of want, they don't offer nice glide. The razor just kind of skips across and it thins them out too much. You can kind of see the lather building up around the sides here, and I thought I might need to do this because the lather, and this is why I like this soap. I just got a 1/4 teaspoon and it's going a long way. I mean, this is and this feels good. This is kind of like a brush lathering kind of thing, you know? So yeah, I've added another whole 1/2 teaspoon. Let's add another 1/2 teaspoon into the bowl. And I can kind of take this excess here, put it back in my bowl. I've got tons of lather. Again, something that probably is what attracted me to this soap. So now let's spread it around. Let's feel the brush tips here for a second. Yeah, nice and soft, really comfy, but still kind of, because of the O-rings, it still kind of gives you that scrubby feeling, a little bit, but it's nice and soft and luxurious and slick. Feels great in my hands here. All right, so hybrid tech with a Treet Platinum blade. Let's see if they are a good match. Sometimes the Treet is a real winner. It's one of those, I don't know when they are making blades if the R&D department sits down and says, well, we could make it this angle, and then that we find is a good general purpose blade that will work across many, many razors. Or we could choose this angle, which works superbly well, but with fewer razors. I don't know if that is something they choose or if it's just the way it works out with blades. But it seems like maybe the Treet Platinum might be one of those, because it will hit a home run in a few of my razors and be just kind of average in others. All right, a little bit of drag, not a lot of glide that first pass. I had added a half a teaspoon to the bowl here, but I went ahead and added another one, so now we've got 4 teaspoons of water in use in this shave. Now it's not, since part of it went to that first pass, you know, it's not exactly a homogeneous mix across all passes, but it's probably close enough. Get this guy nice and wet. Let's take a look at him. And we've got tons of lather still after a pass. Look at that. And that is why I look at that elasticity there, the movement. That's just one of the reasons why I was just so impressed with this soap base. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Let's push this soap base and see what happens. Let's do a whole nother teaspoon. That's just nuts. 5 teaspoons. Because you saw it dropping, but it was still kind of blobs. Let's just see what we get. Every once in a while, do this with your soap base, with whatever soap you have. Push it really far, and you'll know. You might discover new territory that you really love the slickness and performance of. And eventually, if you keep going, you'll discover when it breaks down and when it doesn't work very well for you. So what do I get? Off the empty, the unlathered puck, I do get the apple, maybe some of the amber, maybe the black currant. But right now, something else. I don't really get the sandalwood too much. I think I get the apple, maybe some musk. I like the scent. I like it. Might put it on my list of ones to get. It's different. It's definitely not too much like others that you may have already smelled. It is kind of unique. I think they called it 7 doubloons because, yep, it's got 7 ingredients. Call them the 7 brothers, and so they combine these 7 ingredients. And yeah, see, look, this lather, I added more water to it, and it's still terrific. Look at this. It's not even too wet. This was a 1/4 teaspoon of soap, and I've got tons and tons of passes of lather here. So you could probably go with just 1/8 of oh, there's the slickness. There it is. My first pass just needed more water. There it is. Nice close comfy shave. That's one of the nice things about this razor head. It is a efficient cutter. It's also pretty comfortable as well. Maybe that's one of the reasons it's kind of sought after. All right, third pass, and look at all this lather. The water just blew the lather up, and we've got, yeah, 4 or 5 passes still. Look at that. This is definitely one of my favorite Semogues. I like the amount of bristles that it has, and so it spreads out that nice feel all over your face. Soft, and it's going to keep getting softer as the uses go on. This is only the 18th use, so it's going to get even better. Now, my biggest question with all these Semogue brushes that are so soft, and I was talking about this in the comments recently with a Akim, a viewer over in Singapore. Hey, man. And he's got several. No, wait. Was it Alan? I think that might have been Alan. Dang it. Sorry, I can't remember. Well, Akim, if I wasn't talking to you, I still say hey across the pond over to Singapore. Alan, if that was you, hey, man. Don't think I know quite where you are. I'm pretty sure you're in America. But I was talking with one of you guys about, you mentioned that you had several Semogues and that you had a razor on the way. Yeah, I think it was Alan. A Zenith on the way. And you're looking forward to it, because I had been using Zeniths, and I guess the way I was describing it sounded like it might match what you like. And then, you know what? I bet maybe both of you guys were kind of talking similar. Anyway, and so I may be merging 2 conversations from 2 different guys. And the point was made that the Semogues that the person has over the course of several years were starting to be kind of floppy. And yep, I believe it was Akim. That is hilarious. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm merging 2 different conversations. Because he said that he has an Omega that it didn't change that much over time. And the Semogues were really soft at first, but they kept getting softer. And the Omega didn't. And that's certainly what I'm experiencing right now with my Boarathon. I managed to rein in this Semogue with the O-rings. He said some of his just, would get almost too soft and floppy, but then the Omega wouldn't. And so I'm curious as to whether my Omega is going to do the same thing. It seems like it is on that road because it's being very reluctant to change over time. But what that may mean is that in 200 uses, 100, I don't know where it's going to happen, but if it becomes a really soft brush, then it might stay that way and keep that backbone and be a really enjoyable part of my collection. And what I may be doing then is buying some more, another Omega or 2, and then bearing through that long break-in period to finally get to that goodness. If it's too long of a break-in, I might use some kind of accelerator like long soaks and things like that. But anyway, sorry about that kind of ramble there. Okay, water out of the goatee, got to do that. I think I've done 3 passes, and I've got tons of lather left. Let's just do a little, why not? What's the scent? It's nice in the bowl. It's not super strong on my face, but it's there. So I'm going to change my direction here. Go cross grain. That feels good. I can tell I'm not stirring up any irritation any razor burn. So this blade might be a really good worker in this razor. All right. So yeah, that's the thing with boars. When you get a boar, you almost have to rely on other people's experience to choose, because how it starts out and how it feels, the first 20 uses may have nothing to do with how it feels after 100 uses. And it may start out a brush that you really enjoy and then become one that's too floppy for you later. Different brands might have different behaviors, and indeed you might even have different behaviors inside of the same brand. Omega has a large variety of brushes, and so some may be better than others for you. Semogue has many brushes. Most of them I feel are in that camp of softness and maybe near too floppy for some people. But it'll be really interesting, and that's kind of why I'm doing this Boarathon, to watch them grow kind of at the same rate and see what happens to them. But man, this one feels good, and there's a reason it's one of my favorites. And so I believe because this handle here is a little on the short side for me, I believe I'll probably rehome this knot into another handle. And one of the things I can do is set it a little deeper so I don't have to use the O-rings. But look at this, I've still got this much lather. I've done 3 passes and a touch-up. Oh, look at that. There you go. This is the perfect consistency for me. Look at that. That is it right there. It could be a little wetter probably, but not much. There we go. And this, my friends, this great lather is exactly, and I'm sorry, I've said it like 8 times during this shave. This is why I started making a list and researching the scents on Blackship Grooming, so that I could bring a couple more soaps into my collection from them, because the lather is just that enjoyable. All right, final rinse, and I'll take a look at that neck area in more detail. Well, again, I'm afraid it was very comfortable, but right here still has some length to the hairs, and so not a great shave, and just in terms of that closeness aspect right here. But very comfortable, and definitely most jobs are not going to have a problem with that length of stubble right there. Just a tiny bit in a few, several hairs, a few little spots. So we're good there, and face feels great. Let's see what kind of post shave we want to throw in. Well, let's cross from pirates to executives. Stirling Executive Man Balm. I'm going to throw that on. Cold weather. I think I used a alcohol splash yesterday, so let's do something a little more nourishing for my skin today. Creed Aventus is the cologne, very popular cologne. I think it smells great. My wife does too. And so that's the inspiration for this, the Executive Man scent from Stirling. Yeah, I got it squared away in my brain. I was talking with Alan about the incoming Semogue, incoming Zenith that he has, and he got the B29, I believe. It's the one with a cool resin handle that's kind of similar to this guy. It doesn't have this kind of lump right here, but it has the wide part here near the brush area, and then it gets narrower and then gets a little thicker, and it's got a nice marbled blue resin handle there, and about $40, $45 if I recall correctly. And there's an eBay seller that is the kind of a Zenith American distributor guy that I think is the one I was looking at, because they're from over in Italy or something like that. So I've really enjoyed my Zenith, and my B2 that I have is very similar in size and shape the knot, at least the loft it comes out of the handle and the width of the knot there are very similar, and so I feel like I know how that particular brush would shave. And I think I like that nice hourglass kind of handle of the B29 instead of the I don't have it here, instead of that kind of aluminum looking thicker handle. And actually it was the metal one that almost looks like this a little bit. It comes off, it's a little taller. And some of the Omegas actually have that same kind of handle. But anyway, so I was talking to Alan about his new Zenith. He mentioned it, and I'm excited for him. But then with Akim, I was talking about he was telling me his experiences with a bunch of Semogues, and then the Omega that didn't really change all that much and that sort of thing. So yeah, I was mixing up some conversations. 5 teaspoons of water is what made this lather awesome. And I could even go more in terms of water with this lather. It could definitely get wetter. And I love a good soap that can be flexible. It can be dry if you just prefer that. Or it can take in a lot of water and still not break down, not become unusable. So wow, tons of lather. And I do like this scent a lot. So I'll have to make some notes. I've got maybe 2 other Blackship Grooming samples that I ordered because the description sounded neat. And so not even if I like it, I've got so many soaps, we don't have to bring in every soap we like, right? So I'm going to choose a favorite from the samples that I've got going. I've also got a Zingari Man tallow sample to try, and I've got a couple of Stirling samples to do, Haverford, Piacenza, and Tuscany, which is cool because I've been using that Tuscany Balm for quite a while. Be good to try out the soap as well. Anyway, so we got some cool samples coming in the future. We'll keep on using those with my different Boar brushes. And this Semogue 2000 reminded me again how much I enjoy it. Some of the other Semogues are smaller, and so there's less bristles. A lot of flow through, a soft touch on your face, but this one has, with the more tips, you just get kind of a different feeling, and it's one that I like. So it's one of my favorites for sure. It would have a big bloom if I didn't have those O-rings. Some people like the big bloom, but see, I've got this goatee. I don't need to be swiping across my whole face, covering a lot of area. I've got kind of a U-shaped little zone here. All right. Sorry about the ramble, but I think we got a good shave going on right now. My face is feeling good, happy with the products. Happy with the comfort level. I think this is a pretty good matchup of blade to razor. I'll probably find 1 or 2 with this razor that are better than others because they'll be able to get this little area right here without too much problem. But comfortable, nice, felt great. I'm a happy camper. All right. So with that, now afterwards. Oh, you know what? Let's smell something else is coming out. It must be the musk. Maybe a tiny bit of amber. I think the sandalwood's finally starting to show up. And sometimes sandalwood will be a heart note, not a heart note, but a low bass note, because it's one that can kind of stick around for longer. It's not as volatile as a chemical. I'm not surprised it might come out toward the end. Yeah, a little bit of the apple still there. I didn't really pick out too much cilantro at all. Now I'm guessing at what black currant smells like. So yeah, I like this a lot. If you don't like apple scents at all, there is a distinctive apple part to it, but it's not apple focused. And so if you have a big aversion to apple, you probably won't want to try it. But it's not, it's one of those things where, I think that's probably got some apple in it. But you don't, well, it's an apple scent. You don't say that. That's what I'm saying. And so if you enjoy scents that have apple as a component, then You'll probably like this. You'll probably like this soap. Not too much here in terms of spiciness and sharp and pungent, type scents. It's a little on the softer, smoother, sweeter side. Not an icky sweet like candy or anything like that. Not a food type scent really at all. I like it. I think it's a good mix. And it's going with the Executive Man really well. How about that? Must be some commonalities there. Anyway, hey, I hope there's been some good stuff here for you today. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care.